Imagine being told to pay child support for a kid that is not yours or go to jail. That was the order the state handed down to a Detroit man.
Why is Shelby County Juvenile Court forcing him to pay for a child that is not biologically his?
Men are being forced to pay child support for kids that are not theirs.
The judges at Juvenile Court have an idea who the real father is.
Yet they're still demanding he pay up.
But the reality in Memphis is just because you're not the daddy doesn't mean Shelby County Juvenile Court won't make you pay.
I was down there in handcuffs and chains.
Over the years, Edward Bowdery had his driver's license stripped and once even found himself in handcuffs over child support payments for a child that's not his.
I would hate to see somebody else go through the same thing. I've been going through this. Headaches.
This mound of paperwork shows a juvenile court judge ordered him to pay child support even before the birth.
I didn't do a voluntary acknowledgement. I didn't sign the birth certificate. All I knew is we legitimated the child in your name.
Bowdery asked several judges during several hearings for a DNA test, but no judge ordered one.
I said, how did I even get put on child support? And I never said this was my child. And they said, again, this is not what we're here for.
In 2009, he took the child himself to get a DNA test and found the son he'd supported for years was not biologically his. He took the documentation to court. The judge wouldn't accept it, but ordered a new DNA test done that showed the same results. Probability of paternity, 0%.
They never did do what they were originally supposed to do, which was give me the opportunity to take a DNA test. I was just a voice not being heard, so I guess I needed a choir.
Juvenile Court Magistrate Nancy Kessler agreed in October to allow Bowdery to disestablish paternity, but only after, he says, she admonished him for taking it this far.
The judge stated that, well, I find it very distasteful that you're bastardizing a child.
The judge didn't see a problem with the mother lying about who the father was, which hurts both the child and the man she is accusing. Rather, she saw a problem with the man fighting to not have his rights violated and freedom stripped from him for not wanting to pay for another man's kid. As we already know, the court system wildly favors women, which is why they see no problem with paternity fraud and will force men into paying for kids that aren't theirs.
Carnell Alexander walked into the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice knowing in moments he could lose his freedom.
I stayed up all night, couldn't sleep, thinking about it.
Carnell is a wanted man because he refuses to do what the state orders and pay child support for a child that DNA tests prove isn't his. A child he doesn't even know.
I haven't even had a chance to really speak to him except for one time when we took the DNA test.
This problem that is impacting many men could end up impacting you next if you're not careful.
Nonetheless, right now, under the law, he's a deadbeat dad. Today, he turned himself in to the judge as ordered.
Scared because I've been before this judge before.
But this time he had attorney Cherika Harris, who volunteered to help after seeing his story on 7 Action News. The judge said he will not go to jail for today.
It's sad that our lives can be easily ruined by false claims and accusations. And even after they are proven to be false, you can still be considered guilty.
Though the threat of jail is on hold, it is not over. Carnell Alexander still owes more than $30,000 to the state for a child that's not his because the mom wrote his name down because she needed to name someone in order to get welfare benefits.
And I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get the system.
Now,
I'm almost homeless. I'm almost in jail. I'm out of work. My money is being threatened to be taken.
Carnell isn't just worried about how this is impacting him. He says the law needs to be changed, so when this happens, as it often does, other men don't become dad by default.
We can be defaulted into being a father of a child that is not ours. I don't understand that law, but it is a law in place.
There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of men who find themselves in this exact situation, where they are forced to pay child support for a kid that isn't theirs. Additionally, there is little they can do to get themselves out of the situation they've been put into.
This bill is simple, that a person who is proven not to be the biological father
State Representative G.A. Hardaway says he's heard from a number of fathers in his district who were like Bowdery. He introduced a bill letting them file civil lawsuits against the biological fathers, but it never made it out of committee.
To a degree, justice needs to be served. I think it needs to be a totally different, a new law or something.
The question many people might ask, why is Bowdery still paying back pay to the child's mother? Well, we're told by law, the new judge he's dealing with can't undo another judge's ruling.
I previously went over laws in Georgia and Tennessee that have passed to help prevent paternity fraud in an older video, which will be linked in the description. But the vast majority of states have not done anything to prevent it, nor do they seem willing to, which is why you must protect yourself. If you're in these states, I urge you to get a DNA test done as soon as possible, which can help you prevent paternity fraud. This next man is on the hook for $65,000 in child support for a kid that he proved wasn't his. But before we continue, brother, I would ask you to like the video if you have enjoyed it this far.
Any law that needs you to prove your innocence beyond your DNA is a very cruel and deliberate law. I wouldn't even call it a law, I would call it a trap. One day in 2016, I was approached, knocked on my door, and a constable issued me some papers stating that I owe child support, and to my surprise, I did. We took a paternity test. I'm not the father, as we all know, but she's still pursuing the matter for personal benefits. We weren't emotionally involved like that. We dated probably 3 times. I saw her 3 times in 1998, went out on dates. We never had a relationship. I don't want to go into a battle with condom companies because put yourself in my shoes and think about your children. Think about what your actions are. And if you truly think you're doing the right thing, then continue. I got 3 kids to take care of. $65,000 is a lot of money. To put it in perspective, that'll be 2 regular family sedans or a very nice Corvette. Half of a house. I have an advice for other men around the world. You need to be careful. Men that are being kept underwater, unseen, hidden, oppressed, because of the system, the way it's designed. It's designed for you to take the biggest financial hit you can. I mean, I have food in the fridge. I have gas in my car. I have air conditioning in my house. There's many men that don't have those opportunities going through this. This has to change. This is wrong.
Watch this video next on Georgia and Tennessee passing laws to prevent paternity fraud.